This is Santino Marella, and you're watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Take a walk around the world and keep your hands to yourself. To the point, 'cause you know I won't be listening long.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approved. Count it out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and I am joined, as always, by the one and only Mike. How are you, sir?
Ooh, couldn't grace you with a nickname this week?
No, I'm
No?
dropping the mojito nickname from you. It's run its course. You're not drinking mojitos lately. What are you drinking tonight?
I got the good old iced teas. My
Oh, the little
raspberry iced
Cottage
tea.
Springs. Yeah, you
little
know
Cottage
what?
Spring. Hey, we're getting close, man. Hey, look at you.
I pulled out a Cottage Springs today as well.
We're getting close to summertime, man. Well, it's weird because for those who live in the Toronto area, know how weird it's been lately. We go through 2-3 weeks of fucking summer, then 2-3 weeks of bitter winter, and then another 2-3 weeks of summer. It's been really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But we're back to summer now. It was really nice today.
Yeah,
So
great
said,
minds
fuck
think
it.
alike.
Yeah, I said, fuck it. I'm cracking a good old Cottage Springs because it makes me, I'm not going to go into deep shit, but I have been not feeling great lately. I've been a little depressed and for obvious reasons.
Yeah, as have I.
And summer makes me feel good. Good weather makes me feel good. So cracking a good old Cottage Springs makes me feel like summer and makes me think it's summer. So it's good for my mental health. I'm not telling everybody to go and drink because of mental health, but
it's
you know,
the association.
Like yours with it, yeah.
Yeah, the association is fantastic, and I am associating some happy times right now with the wrestle.
What are you doing under that blanket there,
I'm
bud?
putting on my blanket. It's a little chilly in the basement tonight there, so
I love it. You're talking about happy times and you're fucking wrestling under the fucking.
I got it's WrestleMania season, man, and I'm pretty pumped up. We are like 2 weeks out now. This has been a great build to WrestleMania. I've got a list
torn
tonight.
on it.
You know, I want to talk about some of the build too, because a
So
lot of
do
people
I too, because I both love and hate it at the same time. It's weird for me.
I love more than I hate, but the things that I hate are the things that people are loving, and I'm really like excited to talk about this a little bit tonight.
Yeah, me too.
My list this week is also inspired by WrestleMania.
Yeah, baby.
Because we have a huge rematch for the main event of WrestleMania this year with Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. And whatever the hell the belt's called, I don't know, Universal, Undisputed, Universal, something or other. But I'm doing the top 7 rematches to happen at WrestleMania this week. Now, there's a big word in there. It's called rematch, not trilogy match. So I am only counting the second match. So for the guys that have had 3 matches, I believe it's just Roman and Brock, Triple H and Taker, and Austin and Rock are the 3 that I've had.
Those are the only 3, I think.
I'm only counting the second matches in those series.
What about no. I think that's it.
It's just the 3, yeah. So only rematches. So match number 2.
Like I have a good idea of what matches are going to be on your list. I have zero idea what your order will be like. This is a strange list for me. And how are you ranking them? Like, so you're ranking only the rematches, right?
Yes.
So in order to make the list, does the rematch have to be better than the original?
No, it doesn't have to be better. It just has to be
better
than the match on the list. It has to be a good match. Okay. Match quality is pretty much the main build to it, like the main attribute to it. I might look at a little bit of historic impact on some of the matches.
Okay. Because I'm not going to say it out loud until we get to the list, but there's a certain match I'm thinking of that you and I have discussed that the original is superior to the rematch, even though the rematch gets talked about more. But I'm wondering, are we still going to talk about that rematch, even though you and I both like the first match better?
I will tell.
I'm interested.
I will tell you that I probably have had one of the hardest times making this list between my number 2 and my number 3.
I don't envy you on this list, man. This is a fucked list.
I
That's two
my
fucked lists in a row you've had, by the way.
my honestly, this list came together easier than I thought it would. The middle part of it was really easy. My number 2 and my number 3 and my number 7 are the hardest ones this week.
Yeah.
Number 2 and number 3, I'm still not sold I've made the right decision on, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's
All right.
talk about the road to WrestleMania. And I would like to start off.
Okay.
I would like to start off with talking about the segment that everybody is raving about, and that was between Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins on Raw.
The word acclaimed has been added to this this segment, by the way. People are talking like it's one of the best segments to come out of WWE in 15 years. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, personally, and I'm glad we're on the same page. I will say before we get into the segment, though, Drew McIntyre going to that the bakery. Did you see that?
Yeah, a little AEW.
I thought that
was funny.
Was very funny.
Yeah,
very, very funny.
Like it's an inside joke. Like I almost didn't get it. I kind of had to read into it to make sure I got it. But it's one of those things where you know if you know, but if you know, it's pretty fucking funny.
And the fact that he just put it on Twitter/X and it wasn't on TV makes me like it more, because if it was on TV, I'd kind of be like, why? Like, why are we wasting Raw time with this? This was a great Drew McIntyre going out on his own and just poking the bear and giving a little wink there. I thought that was really well done. But I thought that Drew McIntyre hit a dud on Raw. I didn't like his performance on Raw.
I think they all hit a dud.
I thought Seth Rollins was very good. He hit a good promo.
He was Seth Rollins. I don't think Seth Rollins hits duds per se. I think Seth Rollins is always on. Seth Rollins is always good. I don't think this is prime Seth Rollins, though.
I thought his promo was strong, where basically he looked at Punk and was like, I don't care about you. Like, I thought that was great. I thought Drew and Punk were trying too hard to be shocking, and it felt very forced.
100%. That whole thing, with the fucking
the chosen
one. I'm the chosen one. Who called you the chosen one? Say his name, I dare you. That was dumb.
That was incredibly dumb.
I think it was a dumb thing to do.
There was no winner in that situation because, number one, you're bringing up a terrible situation and a person that's name is not being mentioned at all. You're already drawing light that you're talking about Mr. McMahon. Everyone knows that. But you make Drew, you just handcuff Drew because obviously he can't say his name. So now you've made Drew look like a chicken shit pussy.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
Then again, it shouldn't surprise me because in the exact same segment, he admitted to being a Jim Cornette fan. So what are we going to say?
But also, I thought Drew's little like Punk swore and Drew's like, hey, it's PG, brother.
PG.
I just thought Drew came across really lame in the segment.
Really? Because there's a guy on the same fucking television program saying fuck every second word. So
yeah, I also thought Punk was just trying too hard. I thought the first part of his promo was okay, like when he was talking about The Rock and stuff, and he had the throwback line about boxing with God. Like I thought that was pretty good.
Sure.
But you and I have talked about this off air, and I want to talk about it on air now. To me, the big problem coming into WrestleMania is that I'm more interested to see The Rock and Cody, and I'm more interested to see Punk and Drew.
Drew and Punk.
Where are our champions?
Both your challengers are feuding with other people, and they're feuding harder with those people. Yes, we cannot say that Seth is not there. We cannot say that Roman is not there, but they're not the fucking focal point now, are they?
Not even close.
Drew is putting 98% of his effort into Punk, not Seth Rollins. Cody, I shouldn't say Cody's putting all his effort in The Rock because it's really The Rock going after Cody more than anything else.
Well, The Rock's just outshined Roman. Like, let's call a spade a spade.
The Rock's outshined the WWE. The Rock
I don't think The Rock
point. I think The Rock is the focal point of WrestleMania right now.
I don't think he's outshined Cody.
He's taken over. Oh, I think he has.
I think Cody's held his own.
And up until that bullshit segment last night.
Which
where
one? Where they beat him?
where he made Cody look like a bitch. He beat the fuck out of him for 6 straight minutes. Number one, that's one of my problems with the segment, is it was far too long.
It was too long.
We watched him whoop Cody's ass where Cody did not get a single offensive move out for 6 straight fucking minutes.
I'm okay with that.
And then my other problem with it was, if you're going to do that for 6 minutes, be interesting. Keep it interesting.
Yeah.
He had 3 lines that he repeated for 6 straight minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was a drag. I'm with you on that.
It was, look what your hero is now. Hey, Mama Rhodes, what you doing, boy? All back and back, over and over, and then he would throw in, "Don't fuck with the final boss."
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like you now. This is what you sounded like a year ago with AEW. I'm kind of getting over rocking and swearing.
Yeah, me too.
It was shocking.
It was good at the press
first.
conference.
It was good at the press conference, and the first time he did it on Raw, I was like, whoa. But now he's dropping F-bombs every Raw.
Yeah, I'm over it.
And I'm very over it because it's not needed for the program.
I agree.
It's not needed for
it doesn't fit the Rock like either.
He's making it he's trying to make it his gimmick, and I don't like it.
It's like, I didn't like when MJF did it in AEW, but at least, like, okay, it's MJF, it fits who he is. It feels more forced when The Rock does it.
100%.
When they did it at the press conference and it was just walking by Triple H and saying it, I was like, okay, like that
100%.
felt like a shoot.
It felt real. It felt real. It didn't feel forced. Now, you know what it feels like? It feels like a 56-year-old man trying to be cool. That's what that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only time I enjoyed an F-bomb so far in this this feud had nothing to do with a man who's actively involved in the feud. Nothing to do with the man who's actively involved in WWE. Dustin Rhodes put out on his fucking Twitter just a video of him, and he's holding his belts from like somewhere, probably from his school or something. It's just him on the camera, and he goes, "Fuck you, Rock," and that's it. It's like it. That's it. It's amazing. I fucking loved it. And then after the beatdown last night, all he put on his Twitter was "son of a bitch." I love that he's putting himself into this.
I mean, why not? He wants.
That's his brother. Listen, if AEW wants to let him do it, they're gonna listen. Some people might see it as disrespectful to AEW, and rightfully so, possibly. But if AEW has a problem with it, they can call up Dustin and tell him to stop.
Yeah,
WWE would.
Yeah, WWE. Those videos would be yanked or not even aired.
Yeah. So all power to Dustin as far as I'm concerned.
Want to talk about the SmackDown segment with Cody and Roman as well. I thought this was a big opportunity for Roman to make himself relevant, and I think he was awful. I thought it was his worst performance in months. I think it might have been one of his worst performances since he's won the championship, in all honesty.
The only way he can redeem himself at all right now is at least putting out a phenomenal match in 2 weeks.
Well, and you know that will happen
before dropping the title.
So let me ask you this then, and we're 2 weeks out from WrestleMania as we record this. You have 2 big title matches. Who do you put over in both of them? Do you put Drew over Seth, or do you put Seth over Drew?
I wish I gave a fuck. They haven't made me give a shit. They really haven't. And it's one of those, at least with Roman and Cody. Cody's this underdog who's been fighting from underneath for 2 years, and
it's time for Cody.
He's got this story. He's got this story where you really want a guy like Cody, even if you're not a Cody fan, you want a guy like Cody to come up and beat this piece of shit in Roman Reigns, right? It's a great story. What's the story with Seth and Drew? I don't care. You ask me who I want to win. I don't fucking care.
I didn't say who do you want to win. I said who do you think they should put over?
I no longer buy Drew as a viable champion. They gave him a shot.
I think I put Drew over. I think his new character work, despite my lack of love for his promo on Raw with Punk, I think a lot of that was on Punk as well. I don't think he was setting Drew up to work very well. I thought
Mhm.
Punk was way off for Punk, but I do think that this new character of Drew is very good.
They're
And
really playing him as the guy who fell into the match. And I know he did, but they're not letting you forget that.
yeah, but
You know,
if you put the belt on Drew, then you have your program with Punk when he comes back for the championship,
true,
right?
true.
And I think that
Yeah.
makes sense. And Seth's had the belt for a while now. I think he's had a decent run with it, but I think it's time to move on from Seth and give Seth a break.
So what do you do post WrestleMania with Seth then?
I give him some time off, let him heal
Yeah,
up. His knee's in bad
yeah.
shape, right? I'd let him heal up. I'd maybe give him a month or two off and um
And
who's
you
on
and
Raw?
you
Maybe you know who I'd
you
like to
could
see
put
him
you could
work in a
bring him back as
program?
a you could bring him back as a huge baby face.
I'd like to see Seth and Andrade work a program together.
All right.
I know it's a big step down, but I think it would be good to elevate Andrade.
I was gonna say a big step down, but it's a huge step up for Andrade.
and I think he needs that because Andrade is really talented, but
He is.
he hasn't had a chance to showcase that on the main roster, and I think a program with Seth would be really good.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. I like that idea.
One program
How
I'm
are we?
really
How are we feeling about the tag match?
the ladder match.
No, the Rock and Roman
Oh,
versus Seth and Cody.
I don't know.
I'm doubled down on how much I hate it now.
Yeah, I'm not. I
I didn't like it to begin with, and now Seth being involved in this story no longer makes any fucking sense
mhm.
at all. And now it's like, why should Seth give a shit? Because now they put in this stipulation the winner gets to decide what the stipulation to the main event on on Sunday is. Why would Seth give a fuck?
I just think that it would have made more sense.
Makes no sense.
I think it would have made more sense to have Cody and Rock in a one-on-one match, and
Yes.
the winner got Roman on night two,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you. That would make more sense. Now, I'm still a little butthurt, and I know you don't agree with me, and that's fine. Many people may not agree with me. But this tag match being the main event of Saturday really hurts me, really bothers me. It should be the women's match
Which one,
because,
Bailey?
yeah, because I'm going to double down on everything I've said before about the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble winner should main event WrestleMania.
I agree.
We now have two Royal Rumbles. We now have two nights of WrestleMania. Why can't both Royal Rumble winners get their shot?
And the build for that's been pretty
And this is
strong.
not even me. And even though I do agree, I do believe a woman should that the women should have shots at main eventing WrestleMania. That's not even what this is about. This is about the Royal Rumble winner. Make the Royal Rumble important again. You're doing it
Nor
for Cody. Why can't you do it for Bailey?
well, Cody's a bigger star. Cody's story is a bigger story. I mean, it's really hard to justify putting the women's title match as the main
That
event over The
that's
Rock.
but that tag match doesn't need to be the last match. It doesn't
I
need to be
think
the
you burn
last
the crowd.
match.
I think you burn the crowd out if you put that anywhere other than the main event. Like The Rock is, let's like you gotta. The Rock's the
Then they
biggest star in the company. You and he hasn't fought in how long? The Rock has to make like I don't.
then they should be putting him in the fucking main event of night two. Then
Well, but
like
that's Roman and Cody, right?
well, it is now.
Like normally I would agree
But
with
what I'm
you.
saying, the original, if you go back and book it properly in the beginning, and maybe
Yeah,
The
but
Rock finds his way into the fucking main event.
let's hindsight 2020s here.
You know,
WrestleMania. Look at WrestleMania
like it being The
18.
Rock and Roman, like it should be.
Well, I don't even know if that's the match it should have been either. I think Cody. I
You agree?
personally
You agreed with that a couple of weeks ago.
and Cody's been on another level though. I think Cody's and Roman is the match. I do like the I don't hate the tag match. I would rather it be Cody and Rock one on one. I think that would be better. And then
Mhm.
Cody has to beat him one more time to get to that, and then you could tell the story Cody's fatigued and beat down. Like
Yeah.
you could have the bloodline come out if after Cody beats the Rock and beat both of them up. Then you've got Rock and Roman down
So,
the line.
when's Rock and Roman going to happen? So does Roman blame The Rock for his loss, and then they can go on
I
to
hope I hope the Rock's not involved in the finish of night two because
maybe The Rock comes out and shakes Cody's hand for some stupid fucking reason after the match, and Roman takes offense.
I don't know. I don't know where you go. I think I don't want them to.
How do you get back on track to? Because this is where it all began. This is where it got where I got excited was when The Rock cut that promo. Where's The Rock going to sit? Is he going to sit at the bar? Or is he going to sit at the head of the table? That's what started this. This is where I got excited. Now that's gone.
Well, I
how
would
do we get
do.
back? How do we get back there?
I would have a turn the night after Raw. I would have the Bloodline beat up the Rock on the Mania after Raw, the Raw after
Yeah.
Mania. That's where I would do it. They
Kind
need to
of-
find a way.
it's kind of like the NWO turn on Hogan night after 18.
Yeah,
Love
100%.
that. Love that.
But well, they turned on him at 18. They beat
It
him
was
up.
at 18. You're right. Yeah.
But I don't want that because it takes away from Cody.
100%.
Cody needs to beat Roman without The Rock helping,
Yeah.
or without The Rock costing Roman.
Mhm.
Because then instead of putting all
But
your
The Rock
focus on
has
Cody,
proven The Rock has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt over the last 2 months that The Rock cannot stay out of the spotlight.
yeah, but The Rock's
This is The Rock
outperforming.
show.
But The Rock's outperforming everybody except for Cody.
You don't think The Rock is outperforming Cody?
I think that Cody is holding it with The Rock.
I think he's holding his own, but I think he's like Rock's here, Cody's here,
I think Cody's
and everybody else is down here.
I think Cody's promos have been better than Rock's.
Well, yeah, because The Rock hasn't been cutting great promos. But let's be honest, we spent all these years romanticizing and pretending The Rock was the greatest man on the stick. The words that came out of his mouth were horseshit. He's a good at promo. He's a good at a promo as the Ultimate Warrior ever was.
I disagree with that strongly.
But here's what
he's a babyface
a
promo though. The Rock stuff works as a babyface. It's not as good as a heel.
You know, stick with me for a second there. And I don't mean that as an insult to Rock or to Warrior. When I use Warrior as an example, people, as bad as we like to say the Warriors promos were, people dug them. People got in there, but then you dissect them, take those words, put them together in an order that makes sense, and that doesn't exist. His promos made no fucking sense. Neither do The Rock's. The Rock comes out, it's catchphrase after catchphrase after catchphrase after catchphrase. It's jabronis and pies and smackdowns and hotels. You know what I mean? Like none of it makes fucking sense.
It makes sense. It's just it's better as a babyface. And also The Rock is a legend. Like people don't want to boo The Rock. And he's doing a good job of like trying, but then he does a Rock concert and he was a total babyface, that whole thing. And it's like
see, I really had high hopes for that Rock concert because I said to myself in the beginning of this, I'm like, I hope he does a Rock concert, but I hope he does it in like the most heelish way possible,
like he did in Sacramento.
Where explain? I don't remember the Sacramento one.
He did a Rock concert in Sacramento, and he just was ruthless. He ripped everybody apart. He got booed out of the building. It was the best Rock concert of all time.
Well, that's not what we got.
We got babyface.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I want to talk about one more match, and it's getting lost in the shuffle, but the promo work has been really good, and that's the Usos. I think that Jimmy and Jay have been cutting great promos on each other.
Let's talk about a great moment for a second before we get into that. That moment where the Rock and Roman are there, or maybe it wasn't the Rock, maybe Roman was there, and then Jimmy and Solo came from the crowd. And then that same moment where Jay and Seth come out, that was a great moment.
Yeah, it was done well.
That was really cool.
Also, how cool.
The Jimmy
last topic
and Jay
on
stuff
this
is great.
How cool is The Rock's entrance right now, though? It looks amazing with that big screen and the lightning. Like it looks fantastic.
My question is, can they outdo it for WrestleMania?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. They're gonna have a lot more to work with at WrestleMania. Before we talk, wait. I have a funny skit idea that I think they should do at WrestleMania as well. With R-Truth. So if anyone has ever been to Philadelphia before, I have been to Philadelphia. I went to a baseball game there with a good friend of mine, Nat Dool, great guy. And Philadelphia, the stadium, it's like a square, right? There's a giant square, and the football stadium is here, the baseball stadium is here, the hockey arena is here, and then there's a giant parking lot, right? I think they should have a bit where R-Truth is at the baseball stadium instead of the football stadium.
Yeah, of
And he's
course.
like got a ladder, like, hey, like, you know what I mean? I just think
Yeah,
it would be so funny. And the Miz has got to start the match by himself while R-Truth runs across the street or something ridiculous like that. I just think
it's
it would be
funny. It,
so funny.
it's funny you say that because I had a similar idea, but I wanted him to think his opponent was the Rocky statue.
Oh God, that would be great too. It's like he'd be the Apollo Creed or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
Usos. Let's get on the Usos.
Um, I haven't been up on the product the last couple weeks, so I'm not following everything they're doing, but I'm excited for the match because these two guys I think are going to be the sleeper of WrestleMania.
I think as listener and friend of the show, Steve Bourne, who's been done multiple lists on our show, very knowledgeable wrestling fan. He suggested that that match should open night one of WrestleMania or night two. It should open one of the nights, and
I
I like that idea a lot. Pay homage to
I
Brett and Owen.
I don't care what night it opens. I think it would be a great opener though.
Jimmy and Jay cut a great promo where uh, Jay was like, I miss you. Like
Yeah,
where are you? And Jimmy's like,
yeah.
dude, you left me. Like
Hmm.
I'm bloodline, and you kicked Roman, and I went by your side, and you left me. Where are you? I just thought it was
Yeah.
like this. These guys are. I really think that
I'm
these
so happy for them because this is
look at
everything they've wanted.
well, look at their last 2 years at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Main
you
eventing
know,
last year, which is huge,
which is massive.
solidifying them, in my opinion, as the greatest tag team in WWE history and one of the best
Couldn't agree with you
of all
more.
time. And then this year, getting to work against each other.
Which is what they've always wanted. They wanted to work towards that,
Yeah.
and they're getting their moment. And this is only the third time in history. It seems to be not the third time. Kayfabe wise, we've had it like Undertaker and Kane and shit like that. But you know, but it seems they say every 15 years. WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 25, WrestleMania 40. Every 15 years, we get a brother versus brother match. I think that's pretty cool, and that's real brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great. I really do think that Jey Uso is the guy that needs to beat Gunter for the IC title down the road as well.
Well, you brought up that name. I want to talk about that before we move on. I don't have a problem at all with the booking of the Intercontinental Championship right now.
No, I think it's been great.
I have a problem with the people that won't stop fucking bitching online about it. Where were these fucking people? Like 1 year ago, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about how Sami Zayn is the savior of professional wrestling. Sami Zayn's the greatest thing in the fucking world. How dare they not put Sami Zayn over fucking Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber? But a year later, he's not good enough to be Intercontinental Champion or to face the Intercontinental Champion because you have a hard on for Chad Gable all of a sudden. Listen, I have nothing against Chad Gable. If Chad Gable would have won that and gone on to face Gunter, no problems in my book whatsoever. But you guys are turning on Sammy just because of your hard on for Gable. And it's this thing that started slowly 10 years ago. It started slowly with the Daniel Bryan thing. But now it's become this thing where like, oh well, we saved Cody's match. We did that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But believe anything you want to, because you're idiots. But you're like, we did that. So, but now it's done. What else are we gonna do? Oh,
Here,
Chad Gable lost. Let's go save Chad Gable.
here's the thing.
It's
I
the
get it.
sabotage mentality that really drives me fucking nuts,
I get it. I get why people are like Chad Gable should get the thing. He's got the story. They've had great matches, yada yada yada. I get it.
But Sammy,
However,
you're telling me Sami
no,
Zayn and
no, hold
Gunther aren't going
on.
to have one of the best matches of
They
WrestleMania
are.
history? Like they are.
First, I think Sami Zayn is the right choice. It's a fresh
Yes.
matchup that we haven't had before. Everyone's like Chad Gable needs to be the guy to beat Gunter, and I disagree.
Why?
I
I
disagree,
disagree.
and I'll tell you why. Because the fans, as soon as he wins that title, are
Mhm.
going to
Turn the
abandon
fuck on
him.
him.
They won't
Yes.
turn on him. They'll just abandon him. They will Kofi Kingston him.
Mhm.
That's exactly what will happen. Everybody had this big thing for Kofi, Kofi Mania. It was
Kofi Mania.
awesome, beautiful moment. And then he won the belt, and everyone was just like, okay, what's next?
Okay, what's next?
And they will
And
do that
that's
with Chad Gable.
exactly what Chad Gable will happen to Chad Gable.
And that's why Gunter should not lose to Chad Gable. That's why Gunter should beat Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, and then he should lose to Jey Uso because Jey Uso is a guy that has breakout potential, and beating Gunter will elevate him to that next level. And it will also elevate the IC title with him.
I'm not going to cry if Sammy wins,
I will not be happy.
but like it won't bother me. If Sammy wins, I'll be happy for Sammy.
It won't
But
do anything for Sammy if he wins.
but I like what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. I do think Jay could benefit more from it than anybody else.
It will put Jay on a level that he will not reach without a win like that.
So here's my question to you. With us talking about, and we've talked about this in the past on this show about our love for Jay and how great the great things Jay will do. Where does that leave Jimmy in the future? Because Jimmy's no fucking slouch himself, sir. So where does Jimmy go if you and I get our way and Jay rises to the pinnacle of success? What does Jimmy do for the rest of his career, or at least for the next year or two?
That's a great question that I don't have an answer to. It's gonna depend. Like right now, Jimmy's playing his part, and it's where he needs to be with the bloodline.
All right, well that leads me to my next question. Roman loses at WrestleMania. How much longer can or should the bloodline exist as a stable? Does the bloodline crumble right after WrestleMania?
No, because you still need to get to Roman and Rock somehow.
Because of this group, yeah, true enough. But of this group, I hate to say it, I love Jimmy. Jimmy's not going to be the next breakout.
No,
Solo Sikoa, he's like, there's plans for him. You could tell there's plans for him. He's that little seed that's growing and growing. They're not pushing him. They're not rushing things with Solo, which I love. But there's plans.
Off the top of my head, and this is just me spitballing, first time I've thought about it right now. You're hearing my thoughts as they form in my head. I think after WrestleMania, you got to get to Rock and Roman somehow, and then you put
where
Roman,
are we going? You think
maybe Saudi Arabia, SummerSlam, one of the two, Saudi or SummerSlam, one of the two, right? You put Roman over Rock. I think that has to be done, and then you do a Batista turn with like a slow burn turn, a solo on Roman, and I think Jimmy eventually he's got to rebrand. I think he'll go off on his own. I think he's got to come up with something new. And I think he's got to rebrand.
Because you can't just put the Usos back together.
I think you got to turn him face, though. I think you turn him face and have one on Raw, one on SmackDown, and Jimmy and Jay got to rebrand. Like Jay's main event Jay, and Jimmy needs to find his next step, his next evolution.
Eventually they get back together, but that's not for another 2 to 3 years.
But I also think you put them together like you do like the New Day, where, you know, they go on single runs, they come back together. They're never really broken up. They're just doing their own thing, but they're still like how they used to do with the Shield. You know what I mean? Like when the Shield were all faces and back together, but they weren't together every week.
All right, hear me out here. Stay with me.
Oh God, if you talk about Tugboat coming out here, I'm gonna lose my mind.
You split them up. You put them on 2 brands. You turn Jimmy into an evil priest, and you give him Batista as a sidekick.
What if you put Jimmy back in NXT and you put the world title on him in NXT?
I hate this idea, but is that a demotion?
Not anymore, it's not.
You don't think so?
No. If you put him on there, if you put him back in NXT and put the world title on him and let him develop a new character down there and then bring it up to the main roster, right? Yeah. It's a lot more forgiving to trial and error on NXT than it is on SmackDown.
I guess I need to see that be successful first, because we have yet to see if that's working for
Baron Corbin. I think it's working right now for him.
Well, it's working for him in NXT, but is it going to be successessful when he comes back to the main roster?
No, I don't think
that's the real test.
But I think Baron Corbin's hit his peak with whether he's not going to go higher than what he is in WWE.
And that's the problem. And that's my point I'm making. I don't want Jay to go back down there, flounder, stay there forever, and never be able to have success and never have success on the main roster again.
Baron Corbin's had an incredibly successful main roster run.
He did, yes.
And now he's back down. And if he came back up to the main roster, he'd be right back in the same spot that he was before.
Yeah, you think so?
But that's just because not everybody can be main eventers.
I'm not watching
and
NXT right now, so
neither am I.
the last I saw, he was doing some fun stuff with Braun Breaker.
Yeah, they're the tag champs right now.
Oh, I was on the impression that Braun came up to the main roster.
Braun is on the main roster as well, but they're the tag champs next to you.
Oh, he's running both programs. Okay,
yeah, they're feuding. Cool. They're feuding with Gallows and Anderson right now.
How is Braun as a babyface?
I haven't seen too much of it.
Okay,
they haven't done. He hasn't done a lot. He hasn't done a lot. He's had a couple squash matches. Nothing. They haven't like.
Are we still in the camp of Braun being the next big thing?
I don't know. I don't know if he's your face of your company anytime soon, but he's definitely upper mid Carter.
Okay.
He's upper mid Carter. I think Gunter needs a big run coming up, and
Gunter, if he's not, I think they have to give him the. I really truly believe I think they have to give him the Royal Rumble in 25, man.
Yeah, and him and Cody main event. Or do you put him over Seth and just put the belt right on him now and just stop wasting time?
Personally, no. I want a long build with Gunter. I want more Intercontinental Championship with Gunter. We're talking about Jay beating him, but I don't want that till at least SummerSlam.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
If not much longer, like maybe even Survivor Series.
Drop
it the Survivor Series and then have him win the Royal Rumble.
And then have him beat Punk for the world title.
Oh my God, Gunther and Punk at WrestleMania?
Yeah. I think that, and I think
that's fucking money.
And you get more out of beating Punk than you do out of beating Seth Rollins or whoever, man. Right? You get more out of beating Punk. And Punk's going to be hot at that time.
It's hard to get me excited about a CM Punk match, but CM Punk and Gunther at WrestleMania is that is licensed to print money, sir.
So the last question I want to ask you then, and we can roll into the list. Let's just say that Cody finishes a story at WrestleMania. What's next? Who's the first challenger?
That's the problem isn't it?
Who's there? Who's ready?
Who is there? And what's the brand? SmackDown?
I don't know what brand Cody's on. I think he's on Raw, but
is he? Okay. Well, no, because
he just shows up on both shows.
Isn't Roman the champion of SmackDown?
I don't know.
Fuck, I don't.
I can't keep track.
Yeah, I know. Who is next? Here's your fucking question. I don't know. Does he keep feuding with Rock? Does he do
you feel ripped off if we don't get a Rock and Cody singles match? Because you have to think Rock's going to pin Cody at night one.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to if you're going to.
Or Roman. Someone has to pin Cody night one.
Yes, that has to happen.
We need that doubt. We need that doubt.
Or maybe that's the only. Or maybe that's the only reason they put fucking Seth in the match is to eat the pin.
No, Cody has to get pinned. We need that doubt. We need that doubt. Will Cody got beat last night? Is he banged up?
Somebody made a great story. Somebody made a great comparison. WrestleMania this year is the Avengers movies.
Yeah, I saw that. It was Sam Roberts on Chris Van Vliet.
Okay, so night one is the Infinity War, where everybody fucking all the good guys lose, and then night two, that's your end game, right? It makes sense.
Don't forget also,
it's good storytelling.
Don't forget also, there's a guy named Damian Priest walking around with a briefcase in his hand still,
and they're not talking about it, and there's got to be a fucking reason why we're not talking about that.
Every time they make you forget about the Money in the Bank, it's because they're going to spring it soon.
So
personally, if they do it to Cody,
so Cody's first big feud very well could be Damian Priest.
Do you cash in against Cody right after?
At WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I fucking hope not.
Me too.
I think that's a horrible, horrible move.
Me too.
No, you already pissed off people last year by having Cody lose to Roman. Give the fucking marks what they need like this year. Come on.
What if they cash in the night after? WrestleMania.
I still don't like it, right? Give Cody some time.
I don't hate that. And then have Cody win it back quick though.
Damian has until July. Damian is not the kind of character that rushes into things. He's smart.
Well, he hasn't rushed into it so
He's gonna
far.
wait. You know what I mean? He's smart. He's waiting. He's meticulous. He's planning things out. He has all the way to July. He could wait till the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, really.
I would
You know,
I like the idea right now of him cashing in the night after WrestleMania. Because
I
I don't want him to do it at WrestleMania because
here's my other thing,
we
'cause
as fans
I have an answer for your question, and my answer doesn't work with your cashing in theory. So
you wanted to go with Dom?
I was thinking Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn would be good.
That would be his first hurdle, and maybe Dom's his second hurdle. Maybe he goes through the Judgment Day. You know,
my mind frame is we as
there's
fans,
another man. There's another man that needs to feud with Cody at some point while Cody has the title.
It's Randy Orton.
Which is why I don't want Damian to cash in yet, because he can't get there until Randy Orton gets his hands on Cody.
No, I think you can do Randy after.
No, I want Randy and Cody to have a title match.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, you think Damian loses the cash in?
No, I think he just has like a 1 or 2 month reign.
Oh, you think he loses and
Cody has to come back. This is how I would book it personally. I think we as wrestling fans, we deserve that moment at WrestleMania with Cody. Like we've been on this journey with them, and I think it would be a mistake to take that away from people. I think that like that there's heat, but then there's like that's the wrong kind of heat, I think. But the night after WrestleMania, when we all had that moment with Cody and we had that emotion and everyone's chanting, "You deserve it" to Cody, only to have him get cashed in on. Because then I don't feel ripped off as a fan. I don't feel ripped off the night after WrestleMania. I'm pissed off and I want Cody to get that belt back. You give Priest 2 months, put Cody over in Toronto at Money in the Bank, and you're off to the races with Randy Orton for SummerSlam.
Let me tell you something right now. We tonight, I believe, just booked the greatest SummerSlam in the history of SummerSlam. Can you imagine these 3 matches? Fuck the undercard. These 3 matches happening at WrestleMania. Rock and Roman. Okay. Cody and Randy Orton. Gunther and Jay. All at SummerSlam.
I'm jumping in the car going to Cleveland.
I'm going to Cleveland. The only way you'll get me into the Brown Stadium.
I've been before. It's not nice. Cincinnati one is way nicer.
I will go because our very good friend Chris Van Vliet calls that place home.
Well, you know, even the goats are wrong sometimes. You want to get into a little list action?
I would love to get into a list, but can I tell you something first?
Yeah.
This WrestleMania discussion is one of my favorite discussions you and I have ever had in the show.
I agree. I enjoyed that.
That was a really fun little talk we just had there.
I enjoyed that immensely, and it's WrestleMania season, man. Like I'm excited, and I think that
I love WrestleMania.
That came through here. Let me pull up the old list here. This was an interesting list. I don't think you're gonna like it. I don't. So we're doing the top 7 rematches to happen at WrestleMania in honor of Cody and Roman having their rematch this year. Like I said at the top of the show, this is only the second match in the series of matches. It has to be
we
the
will
rematch.
not be talking about Hell in a Cell from WrestleMania 27.
Correct. Or Mania 19, Rock and Austin.
Yeah.
So
and we get it. WrestleMania 27, Hell in a Cell is one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. I think so, anyways.
Unfortunately, it's not a rematch.
But it's not a. It is a rematch. But it's a rematch of a rematch. Yeah,
hence it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, unless you ask WWE, because they count that as 2.
Yeah, well, WrestleMania 17 apparently never happened in that match.
So
the greatest, what many people call the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and it's definitely one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. 19 is better, but
so is 30.
30 is very good as well. I don't know if it's better than 17. It's close. It's there. There, flip a coin on the day.
So is 8.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna ask you to play. I will get you thrown out of here, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan style. All right. Let's get on the list here. Number 7 is going to be the most unique match on my list. It's going to be the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
I forgot. I honestly forgot they even had a first match.
You just said WrestleMania 30 was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, and you forgot.
I know, but that Firefly Funhouse match lives in my brain so hard that you forget there was anything outside of it.
This was very creative, very fun, very entertaining, and a better
I
rematch.
got to hear the rest of your list because this might have been like my number 5.
I mean,
I really like this match because
the word match is very used
WrestleMania-
loosely here.
WrestleMania was in such a precarious situation at the time. The pandemic was less than a month old.
Yep.
This was their first major pay-per-view with no crowd. They're like, what the fuck do we do? What do we do? They already had a match planned out. John Cena talked about it on the Chris Van Vliet show just a couple of weeks ago. They already had a regular match planned out. What do we do now?
You get weird.
The fact that they let them just open this can of weirds, this can of worms, and get weird is very cool to me. And I know a lot of people shit on this match. A lot of people don't like the cinematic matches. Aren't some people's cup of tea. A lot of people don't like the delete matches. Some people didn't even like AJ and Undertaker.
Well, those people are idiots.
But you know, this is this is WWE's style of wrestling. This is WWE, not only WWE. Majority of wrestling programs are an entertainment form first. The majority, not all, the majority. And this is entertainment at its fucking peak. It goes outside of the ring. It goes outside of everything that you think is cool or anything you think is normal. This is the same company that you're like, yeah, I love the Attitude Era. That bitch gave birth to a hand. You're cool with that.
Everybody, give me a hand. Yay.
You know, you long for that era, but you can't get behind this creative, wonderful piece of art. You know what I mean? I'm glad this is on your list. I really am. I got to see what else is on your list because I probably would have put this at like my number 5.
I had a feeling you were going to say that, and for me, it's like this was more of a spectacle than a match. It was like you said, more of an art form than a match. And
I can pull out 10 or 15 WrestleMania matches that I can say the same thing about. All have Hulk Hogan in them.
From an entertainment standpoint, I think that this is the most entertaining match on the list, maybe. Yeah. But I'm looking a little bit more
when John Cena comes out in that NWO shirt.
That's great. Man, and the steel cage stuff. But I'm looking more fundamental matches here, and this was just super entertaining. I put in the number 7 spot because I didn't know what to do with it.
Sure.
My number 6 totally surprised me that this match was on my list. When I was making this list, I didn't think it would be on there. And I'm taking us back to WrestleMania 29. It's not once in a lifetime. It's twice in a lifetime. The Rock versus John Cena. I have not watched this match since it aired originally. Okay. Yeah. I was hammered when I watched it.
I've watched it once since.
I really enjoyed this match. I really like the way they laid this match out. They started out really
it's better than the first one.
100% it is. Yeah. They had some good throwbacks to the first one with the teasing and the finish especially. There was a lot of really good counters here. And then at the end, it's like they both hit desperation mode, and it was just they kept going for their finish. Who could hit it? Who could hit it? Reversal. It was a very exciting match. I really enjoyed this match from start to finish.
So why is it at your number 6?
Because the other matches are better.
Is that the only reason?
Yeah. That's the only reason. Yeah. Okay. The other matches on my list are way better than this match.
All right.
But this match pleasantly surprised me to go back and rewatch, and it's one of my favorite John Cena and Rock matches. I'm gonna put it out there.
Because I honestly, I'm thinking of a match right now that may or may not be on your list, and if it is on your list, I'm just surprised that it's higher than this, because I do remember this match being surprisingly good. I was not impressed with their first match. I didn't
No,
like their first match.
neither did I.
I didn't like this whole deal, because Rick going all the way back to Miz and Cena, with The Rock being involved there, and then the whole, to the very next year, to the very next, like the whole thing just left me bad.
Yeah, I was the
But
same.
this match was finally the payoff, because it was the good match of this whole thing. So again, I thought this would be differently placed. Maybe not, maybe still number 6, but maybe a little higher, better than a couple matches I'm thinking of off the top of my head.
That's fair. That's fair. I just thought this was where it needed to be. It's kind of cool though, because there's like a lineage of torch passing that gets
Yeah.
brought here, right? And I start that lineage at WrestleMania 18. Hogan passes the torch to Rock. Rock then proceeds to pass the torch to John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And John Cena now goes on to pass the torch to Roman Reigns. Didn't happen at WrestleMania, but does Cena need to pass the torch to somebody at WrestleMania?
I don't. I always hate that torch passing analogy, and I'll tell you why. Hogan had there was no torch to pass from Hogan to Rock. And I'll tell you why. Because for fucking 5 years, a man named Stone Cold Steve Austin was holding that fucking torch way above his head, where nobody could fucking touch it.
Nobody will ever touch it.
You know what I mean? So by WrestleMania 18, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, this is the torch bearing, the torch passing match," and they have Austin in the mid card.
You know what though?
You want to see the real torch?
That was Austin's choice.
You want to see the real torch passing match? That was at WrestleMania 19. Austin passed the torch to Rock, not Hogan.
I don't know. Austin turned down the match with Hogan, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah,
he could have had the torch pass. He didn't need it though. Austin.
He didn't need it though. He took the fucking torch.
Austin is the biggest star in WWE history and probably in wrestling history.
Agreed.
Like
Hogan, you'll never take the golden era away from him. Hogan was the 80s. But the Attitude Era, the Stone Cold Steve Austin era, nothing before or after will ever be as big as that.
That glass breaks tomorrow night on any wrestling program. It's the biggest pop of the night.
Exactly.
It'll outdraw. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, it'll outdraw. If it comes crashing down and hurts inside, Austin is the GOAT.
Now, with all that said, you're going to take that torch. Let's say it was the Rock's to pass on. If Rock's going to pass that on to anybody, John Cena is your man.
Yeah.
Because John Cena was the next man in that line. I don't think The Rock belongs in that line, to be perfectly honest. I think it goes Hogan, Austin, Cena.
Yeah, I don't have Rock in my Mount Rushmore.
Because I think there are men, maybe not as big draws, but worked harder at the same time as those guys. Guys like Triple H. You know what I mean? Not a Mount Rushmore guy for me, but I have him standing higher than The Rock, though.
No, I don't.
I personally do. The Rock had the fucking draw power, sure. Triple H had the work ethic.
Yeah, okay.
Steve Austin had everything.
And Kurt Angle could outwork everything. And Kurt Angle could outwork everybody.
Kurt Angle, well, if you want to talk about work, you want to talk about work. Jesus Christ.
The Rock was bigger than all of them. Rock, you got to put Rock ahead of Triple H. I'm sorry.
But it's only because of draw power. Only because of draw power.
What else
because
matters?
Of charisma. Depends who you talk to, I guess.
Well, you can talk to the companies that don't want to succeed and make money then.
I'm just saying that in the lineage of things, I don't think the torch gets. I don't think the torch is in the Rock's hand at any time.
I don't. If it's not in the Rock's hand, Triple H isn't even lighting it.
Oh no, I'm not saying that the Triple H ever has his hand on it either. I'm just saying
Like you
that
know
it
how when they
goes.
you know how they run with the torch and they like
Yeah.
pass like Triple H might get to light the torch and pass it to somebody like, and then
I'm
like you go up the stair like
I used
Austin's
him.
the guy lighting the fire at
I
the end of
use
the
him
day.
as an example because it's like I feel like it's him and other guys, including The Rock. They're the guys from the sideline. While The Rock, while Steve Austin is the guy, he's not holding the torch. He is the motherfucking torch.
To me, the Mount Rushmore of the WWE is Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, and Steve Austin. And
That's an incredibly hard thing to argue.
I will die on that hill.
And that's great. My personal feelings, I'm gonna every day of the week I'm switching out Bruno for Shawn Michaels, and that's just me.
Yeah, but
But
Sean was never the
I
face. Sean was never the face of the company.
Sean was
And when
in
he
the wrong
was,
place at the wrong time,
sorry,
and that sucks for you, Sean.
I agree, and that's why he
But
can't be on the Mount Rushmore.
but
Bruno,
but but but
you can't not have Bruno on that list. The guy was the top. He made more money than everybody except for Austin.
Sean gets on there just for being the greatest performer in the history of professional wrestling.
If you're talking about the greatest wrestlers of all time, Shawn Michaels is on Mount Rushmore. If you're talking about WWE's Mount Rushmore, I'm sorry he doesn't make the cut.
I don't agree. But that's not what we're talking about here today.
Well, you're probably not going to agree with my number 5 either.
So the reason we even got this far, we're talking about torch passing. My point is, while I don't think it was Rock's torch to pass, they say it was, and if it was going to get passed anywhere, it gets passed to John Cena. Phenomenal. Before we move on, here's the question: has John Cena passed his torch?
Yeah, I think to Roman. Roman, he put Roman over clean at SummerSlam pretty strong.
Roman in the same class as John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan?
No.
Can he be?
No.
No. Because
that's not a knock on Roman.
No, it's not. I just don't think he has enough time to do it. He's not going to be here for another 10 years.
It's not that. He, you know what? He hasn't made as much money and taken the company to the levels that those guys took it to.
Can Cody do it?
No.
You don't think so? Is there anybody in professional wrestling right now, WWE, AEW, doesn't matter, anywhere, is there anybody right now with the potential to be the next John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan?
This might surprise you, but MJF, I think there's something special about him. If you get him in WWE and they book him properly, I think there could be something special there. But he could only do that in WWE.
Argument. That's a very hard argument.
He's the only guy that feels different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the only guy that feels different enough, that is talented enough in the ring and on the microphone.
Like he's not doing it. He's not going to be able to do that in AEW. He's not going to be able to do that in Japan.
No, I don't think MJF works in Japan. But I'm just
saying if he goes to Japan.
I don't know if he gets that level of Hogan. Like that's a special level. The Hogan, Austin, Bruno, Cena level. That's a special level. But you want to talk about a great retirement match for John Cena?
Yeah.
There's your torch pass.
100%.
All right, let's get on to number 5 here. Going to WrestleMania 30 something. I don't know which one it is. I drink a lot during these WrestleManias.
Glad you dig your work, bud.
I forgot the Mania. I thought I had it memorized. But it's the Universal title match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Are you fucking okay? This match is 10 times better than the original. I'll give you that much.
This match is legitimately
better.
This match is fucking awesome. It is like a 7-minute car crash of amazingness.
I don't think I have a problem with this being in your list. I do have a problem with it being higher than the matches we already discussed.
When's the last time you've watched this match?
Not since it aired.
Okay, that's your problem. When we finish,
since WrestleMania 30 something.
Yes, 30 something. 6, 2, 4, 7.
36 was the COVID one, wasn't it?
So we're talking like 32. It's whatever WrestleMania the Hardy Boys came back. 32 or 33?
Yeah, 32, I
34?
think.
I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever. They all blend in. I
32,
believe
wasn't that Hardy Boy? Was that the Sting one?
Sting was 31.
Yeah, but wasn't that the same one where the Hardys came back?
No.
Oh.
Um,
I have this memory of watching it at my buddy's place. I thought that was all the same WrestleMania. Fuck.
it was
I get fuzzy.
match is this? WrestleMania. I don't
You
even
figure
know.
it out. I'm getting a beer.
Well, either way, this match is WrestleMania 33 for everybody that's listening. There's my research. This match is literally a fucking car crash. It's incredible. And it's two guys that like when this match was announced, I was like, I have zero interest in watching this match. I was there for Survivor Series. It was a fantastic moment when Goldberg squashed Lesnar in 30 seconds at Survivor Series. They had the great Royal Rumble spot, and then they announced they're going to fight at WrestleMania. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to see these guys fight each other. Goldberg is awful.
I remember them announcing that, and I just had these like horrible memories of WrestleMania 20.
And then the bell rang. And this was like, you know how Brock Lesnar got into like the pattern of Brock Lesnar matches where it's like the bell rings and you hit your finish right away. And then
Yeah,
this was the first time that, like, the first time this pattern was laid out. And literally
yeah.
the bell rang and these guys just immediately hit all their finishes, beat the shit out of each other on the outside, spear through the guardrail, suplex, finish, spear, jackhammer, F5. The match was over in like 7 minutes. It was 7 minutes of nonstop amazing action. Do yourself a favor, Mike. I want you to rewatch this
I
match
will. I
tonight.
will be. Oh, I
Tonight.
won't. I won't do it tonight.
7 minutes of your life you can
No,
watch. You
I won't
will.
do it.
I will yell
No.
at you.
I won't do it, and I'll tell you why. I want to go watch the new Ghostbusters movie tomorrow night, and I'm having a Ghostbusters marathon. So tonight's my last night to watch Aftermaths or Afterlife. So
Well, you can take
can't do
6
it.
minutes before you start it.
No, not doing it.
Either way, this match is fucking awesome, and you have to rewatch it before you lecture me on the other ones. That would bring us to number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4, tables and ladders and chairs. Oh my, we're going to WrestleMania 17.
So surprised this is where it is.
Perfect spot for it.
Because both of you guys have discussed that 16 far surpasses 17.
I don't know about far surpasses, but it is better. I do like 16 better because 16 felt like less of a spot fest than 17.
Mm.
And this was the third, like, this was a second TLC match, but the third of this style of matches they've done.
16 was like, hey, what kind of cool story can we go tell with a bunch of ladders and shit? 17 felt like, hey, you know how we did a bunch of crazy shit last year? Can we do crazier shit now?
Well,
like that's
what you're
felt
also missing is the amazing SummerSlam TLC match they had after WrestleMania 16, where they were.
like.
It was
That sounds like a list.
ooh, that could be a list. Matches that happen at WrestleMania and SummerSlam at the same like.
I'm
Doesn't
a
have to be the same year.
genius. I'm a
Stole-
genius. I can't believe I came up with that.
I hate you. I told you that. I have a witness. Jonah heard it. Yeah, either way, this match is crazy. Like, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. We've talked about it a million times. I think this is the right spot for it. This is an incredible match. If you haven't, this is a match that, like, when you have friends that don't watch wrestling and you want to invest them into wrestling, this is like a go-to match to put on.
So long before there was such thing as Classic Match Classroom, I was working on a podcast called Making a Mark, where I took a guy who never watched wrestling in his life, and I was trying to turn him into a wrestling fan. This was the third match we were supposed to watch. We didn't get that far in the program. Something happened. We ended up not watching it, but this was supposed to be the next match. I started with the very first, no, sorry, that was going to be the fourth. The very first match I ever showed him was Brett and Roddy at WrestleMania 8. Second match I showed him was Hell in the Cell, Taker and Mankind. Third match I showed him was the I Quit match from the submission match from WrestleMania 13.
So that's what I would have started with, probably.
I thought starting him with, I didn't want to start him with what I consider the greatest match of all time, because then everything after that, it's like, well, here's the rest. But I wanted to show him what I consider one of my favorite matches of all time. So Roddy and Brett, I thought was a great place to start. TLC was coming up next, but I was going to show him 16. I wasn't going to show him 17.
Yeah, I think you go with 17 if you're going to try to make a fan.
Yeah.
Number 3, this was the hardest part for me, and I'm still not sure I made the right choice here. But I'm
Okay.
going to stick with my gut. And I'm going to go just to last year's WrestleMania, and it's Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
Was this the one at NXT?
Nope. This was at
Oh no,
WrestleMania
because
last year.
it wouldn't have been because.
This was they
Oh yeah, no, but it was for the NXT Championship.
no, their first match was for the
It was
NXT
for the NXT
Championship
Championship.
at
Okay,
the COVID
okay.
WrestleMania.
Right, right.
This match was
I do remember. I do remember last year's match. It was phenomenal.
it was I rewatched it last night
I'm
with
just
along
trying
with the
to.
number 2.
I'm just trying to, because both their matches were great, but the last year's match was definitely the better one.
This I
The
just
crowd helped.
I went back and forth on it. This should be my number 2 or my number 3. I think I made the right choice here, but this, in my opinion, is in the top 2 best women's matches in WrestleMania history.
Imagine this, okay? Imagine what we're talking about right now. Rhea and Charlotte last year had one of these great best matches ever. Look what Rhea's now done in the year that's passed.
Mm-hmm. She's one of the top 3 biggest stars in the company.
And doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. She is one of the biggest stars. Yes, I'm willing to say she's one of the top 2, if not the top biggest draw in the company right now.
Top 5 for sure.
I think it's ridiculous. I wouldn't say top 5, man.
Well, you gotta put Roman and Cody. Roman and Cody are over her. And then
I don't know if Roman's a bigger draw than Rhea at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
At the moment, I don't think Roman is.
Cody and Roman are the top.
Rock is.
Yeah, he doesn't count.
I don't think Roman is.
I think yeah, Roman's your top draw. Him and Cody.
I'm gonna go Cody Rhea. I really
Rhea's up there. I mean, Rhea just headlined the Elimination Chamber. It was in her hometown, granted, but big moment for her. This match was incredible.
I think Rhea's one of the biggest draws in professional wrestling right now.
I agree. She's fantastic. I'm really excited for her and Becky this year as well, because in my opinion, the best 2 women's matches in WrestleMania history were the last 2 years with Becky and Bianca and Rhea and Charlotte. And now we're going to get, Rhea and Becky this year. And I can't wait for Charlotte and Bianca to get it on and down the road too.
And it sucks because I'm looking forward to Becky and Io, but there's no way that they can compete with what Becky and Rhea will give us.
Yeah,
there's just no way,
Yeah, I can't wait.
But
Mania from top to bottom is gonna be good this year.
Oh, it's going to be it's going to be one of the better cards.
That was my number 3.
That was number 3. Yeah.
It has to fail in comparison to my number 2. We're gonna get a little Limp Biscuit going.
Yeah. Okay.
Check out my melody. Little My Way. Rock and Austin WrestleMania 17 is my number 2.
I'm so interested right now because I think I have to know what your number 1 is, and I'm liking it. Okay, let's talk about this. Rock and Austin. Okay. This is a weird one for me because I don't know. Do you consider this to be the best of the 3? I know we're not talking about 19 right now. I know it's not the trilogy, but all 3 matches are so different from each other. This finish is both famous and infamous.
Yeah, the finish for me is what hurts it.
Yeah,
because the first, I try my best to try to do a little bit of cardio working out now. Try to lose my spare tire a little bit before I get married. It's not going great, but I pick a wrestling match and I put it on and I ride a stationary bike. So yesterday I put on Rock versus Austin at WrestleMania 17. And I was like, fuck, this match is 35 minutes. I got to hit the bike for 35 gas. I was probably more gas than these guys were. But the first half of this match was unreal. Like the first 10, 15 minutes was fantastic. And then like once Vince came out, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. Couple really good false finishes. Like The Rock had me pumped up a little bit. The Vince stuff, I think, hurt the match rather than helped it. And you hear Austin talk about that. He goes, my biggest regret in my career is that when that
Mhm.
match was over, I didn't call an audible and stun Vince in the ring.
Mhm.
Now let's play hypothetical here for a minute, Mike. What do you think the ramifications would have been if Austin called that audible?
Ramifications for what? Biggest star in the world does what he thinks is best for the company. Vince was known for, yeah, he might be pissed. He might be fucking, he put on his boo boo face. Does he punish Steve Austin? No,
Yeah, but now you have to
not.
rewrite. You have to rewrite
You're
how
right.
much, like
Yep. Agreed.
how
Agreed.
many months of television?
But
What do
we
you do?
are, but we are right now, we are in the year 2001. We are 2 years removed from the time where it's acceptable to punish Steve Austin. Steve Austin is still the biggest star in the company. Steve Austin is
Biggest
still
star in the world.
the person that your entire company is built around.
I'm not saying that you like suspend
No,
him or fire him or anything.
nothing happens.
There,
Vince will have a boo boo face for a bit, but that's it.
no, I think he gets a massive fine or something. You have to do something. Like
Maybe.
you literally just took. This was before they
But
decided to
I'll
do
tell you
the
what doesn't
invasion
happen.
angle.
I'll tell you what doesn't happen. He doesn't get stripped of the title. He doesn't lose any TV time. He doesn't lose
No,
his push. Because why? What's that going to do other than hurt the company?
no, but I mean, what do you think the ramification are of like that relationship with Vince? Like, I don't know. I just
Huh? I don't think it changes.
it's a crazy
Again,
thing to think about.
he's gonna get some boo boo face. That's about it.
Not fair. So my number one, I thought it was pretty obvious the whole way through.
Really? I because I thought maybe this was your number one. I don't know. I don't think it was obvious what your number one ever was. This match, I thought was in your top three. I'm not fighting the fact that it's your number one. I like the fact that it's your number one, but I don't think your number one was ever obvious to me.
Batista and Triple H wasn't obvious to you? No, come on.
My
Shawn
wife, I
Mike
have to go.
Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Career versus streak. This match is unreal. It's the best match on this card.
Yeah.
Like it's Shawn and Taker. You know what I mean? At WrestleMania. Their match at WrestleMania 25 is, in my opinion, in the top two greatest wrestling matches I've ever watched.
I think 25 is better. And
25 is way better.
that's why I'm not upset this is your number one. This should be your number one. But why I was not sure if it would be your number one, because in this case, the rematch was good, but the rematch was not better.
Yeah, but there's a couple matches on here that the rematch wasn't better than.
No, I know, and that's why I was confused. That's why I was surprised that TLC was as high as it was.
Yeah, but when the greatest match in WrestleMania history is their first match, just because
Yeah.
it's not better doesn't mean it's still not better than the rest,
Yeah, no, I got very true, very very true.
right?
Second best is still better than everything that comes before. Yeah,
Like this match is in my top three favorite matches of all time. Their first
20
match,
like
25.
Russell. Oh, I thought 25. I was gonna say if you're talking about 26, I was gonna laugh because I'm like that means that their two matches are just better than everything else,
No,
and I
they're
would be okay with that.
my 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 personal favorite matches of all time are in no particular order. Brett and Austin at Mania 13, WrestleMania 25, Michaels and Taker.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm with you so far.
Kenny Omega versus Okada, 2 out of 3 falls is
Sure.
I think it might be my favorite match of all time.
All right.
The very first War Games match is one of my
Nice.
favorite matches of all time. From a personal standpoint, because I was there live, Hogan and Rock, as well as Kenny and Osprey, are also on my Favorite match
Great.
of all time. But if we're talking about match, I went there for Brainbusters versus Heart Foundation,
Yeah.
SummerSlam '89, and there's a great Lance Storm Jerry Lynn match from Guilty as Charged. Or Anarchy Rules '99 is very good as well. But those are just some of my favorites.
I like it.
These are a few of my favorite things.
For me, I gotta throw me some Magnum and Tully in there.
Yeah, Piper and Valentine. I know all your favorites.
um, we did a while back. We did like a list of my favorite like feel good matches, and that list changes over time and stuff like that. And I'm going through a really hard time right now. I'm going through depression and shit, and I turn to wrestling and I try to watch the matches that make me feel good. And one match that I forgot how much it makes me feel good that I didn't talk about it on the list at all. And that's the blindfold match between Jake and between
It's such a fun match.
Jake Roberts and Rick Martel.
Great angle too.
It's so fun. It's so fun. My son, I showed him WrestleMania 8 for the first time. It's his first full-on pay-per-view. It's the first full beginning to end pay-per-view my son has ever seen. He watched WrestleMania 8 with me. And a couple days ago, he comes down the stairs and he goes, "It's wrestling time. I'm Jake the Snake Roberts." I'm marking out. I'm marking out on my own son. And he points at me, he goes, "I'll get you, Tito Santana." I'm like,
Huge pop.
he gets it. He gets it. My wife's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you two?"
Who was his favorite wrestler after the card was done? Who was his go-to guy after WrestleMania 8?
Because young kids, a lot of it's like the thing that's like right there, right now. So he really liked Warrior.
Yeah.
Because Warrior was at the end, and that was your memory. Plus, he does have he has a Warrior action figure, so it was cool for him to be like, I know him.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing he was talking about a couple of days later, the two guys he kept talking about, his memory was Jake the Snake Roberts. He just keeps talking about Jake the Snake Roberts.
Trust
So
me.
I think I think he took Jake from it. But the other cool thing that he thought was really cool was he was watching and he looks at me and he goes, "Daddy, who's that guy?" I said, "That's the Undertaker." And he says, "That can't be the Undertaker. Uncle Tyler gave me an Undertaker, and that's not what." And he goes, "That he doesn't look like that." And I explained to him how Undertaker has lots of different looks and he changed, over 30 years. He goes, "Daddy, I want to see it all." I'm like,
Yay!
"I want you to see it all."
Don't tell your mother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then he got pissed off, and that's why Kane wasn't at WrestleMania 8.
Well,
Yeah.
it's for the best. Because that match was not making the cut. So I know that everyone's kind of yelling at me going, why wasn't Triple H and Undertaker from
Yeah, it's my very first question. For me, again, I won't say this until I rewatch the match. I'm already taking Goldberg and Brock off this list to fit this in somewhere. I do think you missed something.
I rewatched this match because I remember watching it live and hating it. And I was like,
why did you hate this match?
I
love all three of their matches, by the way.
This is my least favorite out of all three of their matches. By far. By far.
Oh,
Can't stand it.
I think all three of the matches get a little bit better.
This was like one of my least favorite matches of all time.
I think I like this one better than 17 because I'm not a big American Badass fan.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate Badass Taker, but I thought the match was way more entertaining. This match, it just dragged.
What's your problem with it?
The finish was my problem, and it was just boring. Like the first half of the match was good. It was really good actually. They start off with a great pace, and then like it just was like one move, kick out, shocked face, regroup. 5 minutes later, another move, kick out. And then like Triple H has the Undertaker beat dead to rights and just shows compassion for no reason at all.
Yeah.
because like that's such a Triple H thing to do. And he's like, "Come on, stay down," and then he just gets caught in a chokehold, and that was it. Like, no, Triple H, the way they laid that match out, should have beat the streak. I'm not saying Triple H should have beat the streak from a booking standpoint, but Triple H is one of the most ruthless competitors of all time. He's not showing compassion for anybody, especially with something like being able to be the guy that beat the streak when his best
Mm.
friend couldn't do it. Like, no, I'm not buying into it. And the last 8 minutes of this match is some of the most boring and hair pulling wrestling for me to watch
My only other one, wondering why I didn't make. Why did Brock and Roman not make your list?
because it was almost as bad as this match. I
Yeah,
just
okay.
I really hated their second match.
All right.
Their match or 2 years ago was pretty good, but their second match in New Orleans, like it's regarded as one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. It was so boring.
I'm gonna throw you a match that I think is not great, and I just want to hear you on because I've gotten in arguments with people on whether or not this match is good or not, and I want to know where you stand. Obviously, didn't make your list. Thank Christ. Where do you stand on Kane and Undertaker WrestleMania 20?
Uh Great entrance.
Entrances are great, yes, but the match sucked, right?
Too
I,
long.
I mean, I mean,
It's too slow, too long. I
did
now
you enjoy the WrestleMania 14 match? Because
yes.
I did. I think the WrestleMania 14 match is phenomenal.
Here's the thing. I really like Kane at WrestleMania 14 because I thought they booked him and I was young and he terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
Kane is going to go down in history as one of my least favorite wrestlers of all time. He's never done it for me other than that first initial run. And after WrestleMania 14, I really didn't care about Kane anymore because but I just hate Kane. I hate him.
Other than Triple H and Taker, did you watch any matches for this list and be like, "Well, that's not fucking making it"?
I did. I
For
watched.
example, WrestleMania 10, Brett Yoko.
I
Did,
didn't rewatch that
did
one.
you
I've seen
rewatch
it
that?
enough. I've seen it enough
Yeah.
where I knew it wasn't going to make the list, and I knew
Okay.
what I had. Um,
Triple H Batista.
I would not do that to myself.
Their first match is phenomenal. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Fantastic.
I like their first match. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But no, that is it. I'm that Goldberg. Yeah, I'm telling you, go back and watch that Goldberg and Lesnar match, and then we'll talk, and you let me
Hmm.
know if you
All right.
think Triple H and Taker is better. But I mean, if you're ever having a hard time falling asleep, put on the last 10 minutes of that Triple H and Taker match. It'll get you every time.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, that's good. Well, let's
Let's take it home.
take it home. Next week, if the stars aligned, we'll do I believe our very last WrestleMania list
Yep.
because then we're going home, right?
Yeah, and then we got some big things planned. Stay tuned
Yeah,
after
oh, absolutely.
WrestleMania.
After WrestleMania, we're gonna wrap up WrestleMania first, and then we're gonna really start our fifth year of Count It Out.
Yeah.
But we're gonna finish up WrestleMania next week. If the stars align, if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, we're gonna have a guest. We're gonna have a friend of ours. Good old Matt Sookrum will join us next week,
Hey, what a great dude.
and we're gonna do. There's a long history with Matt, going all the way back to the Lasting Mark days. Every time Matt comes on my show, we talk about The Rock. He loves The Rock. So we're going to do The Rock's greatest WrestleMania matches next week. Almost like The Rock has something to do with WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, you seem to be really excited about it.
Like it makes sense, right? So we're going to count down the top 7 greatest Rock WrestleMania matches next week with our good friend Matt Sookrum. Until then, my friend, good conversation today. I enjoyed
Yeah,
today's show.
I quite enjoyed it as well.
I don't always like talking to you, but today was fun.
Most of the time I hate talking to you, but
You know what I mean? It must be the Cottage Springs. That's what it is.
Cottage Springs will make
I
the worst
I
of people like us
exactly.
and
I always feel good.
tolerable for an hour and a half.
I feel yeah. Just watch our Canada Day show from 2 years ago. I
No,
was really tolerable.
you took your shirt off and immediately the feed went out.
I drank a lot. I drank 1.5 of those like 1 liter boxes.
Please drink
Dangerous.
responsibly, kids.
Yeah, please. I don't drive, so it's good. It's fine. It's fine.
You just drive me nuts. Take us home, you asshole.
Until next week, on behalf of whatever the hell that was rematch. What a strange list. It was fun. Good job, buddy.
That's what I do.
Hey, buddy. We've been counted out.
Cheers.